see what we could do to replace the store with a black-owned store, of course. And the more I got into it and talked to people around the country that I know who own grocery stores, I started thinking, you know, about Singletary's Market. And God knows I don't want someone to come in here and invest their money. I don't want anybody here in Cincinnati to invest their money in a store, and black people don't support it. And you know what? I started hearing questions when I was bouncing this idea off of people and everything. Well, yeah, I support it if it's clean. I mean, what's the opposite of that? You know, why would somebody say that? Yeah, I support a black store if it's clean. Oh yeah, I support it if the food is good. All these qualifiers when it comes to black-owned stuff. But I haven't heard a lot of qualifiers for any other stores. And we have a lot of other stores owned by other folks in our communities. We hear complaints about the product and how they're treated and they're not courteous to them and all that, but they keep going there. If you weren't going to those stores, I mean, they close tomorrow. They're only there because they're making money. Simple as that. But these qualifiers that we throw out it seems automatically when it comes to the question about us supporting a black business. That's amazing to me, that we are still doing that kind of thing in 2010, in spite of the history, some of which is cited in Booker T. Washington's book, The Negro in Business. In spite of the glowing history of black people being entrepreneurs, in spite of the glowing history of black people pooling their resources and having their own grocery stores and banks and insurance companies and every other kind of business you could think of, in spite of all that, we're still here in 2010 with this psychological enslavement, being under this yoke of psychological enslavement, having to always put up a qualification as to why we would support a black store. Of course, what that really means is, no, I'm not going to support it. Now, I have been in discussions with, and even to the point of having someone come to Cincinnati and invest in a grocery store, if not at that location, at another location, right in black community. The person, I talked to several folks, but one of the persons that I talked to is very impressed with the demographic makeup of Cincinnati. Apparently he has a lot of confidence and I guess hope that if he came and invested his money in our community and put a store there, that we would support it. And I have seen his stores, his supermarkets. They are clean, they are spacious, they are everything that any other big supermarket has. I mean, but that lingering question in my mind is that, are we going to support this store if it comes? So we can talk all day long. We can wring our hands and say, oh, why did Kroger do this? And we can get mad at them, but they're still gone. The question becomes, what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do for ourselves? I feel very ashamed sometimes of some of the things that are said by our own people when it comes to taking care of ourselves. If we can't provide the very sustenance that we need to live, to survive, what does that say about us? Does it say that we're weak people? Does it say that we're helpless? Does it say that we're so dependent upon someone else to do the most important things for us, that if they back out or if they shut down, we're in big trouble? Does it say that? I wrote an article in my book, Blacko-Knowledge, Stuff We Need to Know, and it's titled, What Would We Do Without White Folks? And I wrote this back in 2004, I think it was. And I went back and just pulled it out, made a copy of it out of the book. And when I read it, I noticed that I mentioned supermarkets. And I said that if all of the supermarkets closed, would we be able to feed ourselves? And now here we are today with 2 stores closing, one in Avondale, one in Roselawn, and we're asking that question, or at least we're positing that notion that we can't feed ourselves because these stores closed. This article was written in response to that email that was going around talking about what would this country be without black folks, you know, with the electric lights and all of the things black folks invented, you know, it stopped and the people couldn't function. But I just turned it around and said, what would we do without white people? And it's really ironic and well, just ironic that in the article I talked about grocery stores and food. I believe that we can feed ourselves. I believe that. I believe we could do a lot more than we're doing if our dollars started making sense. And we need to really give that a lot of thought and then put into practice some initiatives that show the world and show us that our dollars do make sense, that we are concerned enough about the problems that come up from time to time, like a store closing, that we're willing to deal with the solution, that we're willing to bring our best minds together and, you know, our different people from different areas of expertise and step up and do what we need to do to take care of ourselves. I mean, it just seems just practical to me. And we used to do it, of course, before integration came along, and we all of a sudden thought, well, now I can go and spend my money with someone else. And what did that help create? It helped to create dependency. It helped to create this notion that we're children and you're our parents and you provide for us. And that's a bad situation for us to be in, a bad situation. So what would we do? What would you do without white folks? Suppose all of the stores closed, all of the white-owned supermarkets just closed. If there was some, I don't know, law or something that came down in this country, of course it'll never happen, but just think about the hypothetical. If all the stores closed, well, black people, you have to have your own stores. We're not going to sell anything to you anymore. What would we do? What would we do? Would our dollars then start making sense? I suggest that they would. But some people would just throw up their hands and say, oh, the world's coming to an end, it's over, I can't eat, I can't feed my children, I can't do anything, so I may as well just check out. It's all over. And I put that in the last paragraph when I asked the question, what would we do without white folks? The same thing our fathers and mothers did before integration. That's what we do. That's what I hope we do. We would develop economic enclaves second to none in this country by committing to the principle of self-reliance. Self-reliance. And not be so dependent upon someone else coming in and providing our basic needs for us. Now, it's fine if they want to be there and participate in a reciprocal relationship in our so-called black communities. But if it's not about that, we need to be pulling together our own resources and doing for ourselves, being more self-reliant. We celebrate these principles every year during Kwanzaa. But are we practicing them? Are we practicing them the other 360 days or the other 357 days? We're not. We just like to celebrate and feel good about it, I guess. Self-determination and all those kinds of things. Cooperative economics and all of those things. Okay, so this whole notion about the dollars making sense, I think we've kind of set the stage to suggest that our dollars are not making any sense. We're not doing, we're not maximizing the leverage that we have with our tremendous amount of income that we earn every year. Billions, almost $1 trillion now. What are we going to do about it? Of course, keep your thinking on a local level. What are we going to do about it right here in Cincinnati? That's real important. I have another article out of that same book titled Money Talks, Especially Black Money. And I explored what is money really saying? What's black money really saying to people? And, you know, it's saying one thing to black people, and it's saying an entirely different thing to other folks, people who own businesses that we support, white, Asian, Arab, all kinds of businesses. And it says to them, "Good morning, how you doing today? I hope you're doing well, sir, and I trust that I can help make your day much better by soothing your mind and fattening your bank account. You know, we really love you so much, and we want you and your children to prosper, and always feel secure in your knowledge that we are here for you. All you have to do is make something, and we'll buy it. So don't you ever worry about anything. We'll be with you, and we will support you. You have a nice day." That's what our dollars are virtually saying to the businesses that we support, most of which are non-black businesses. Real nice. Our dollars are real nice. Well, oh, how you doing? Oh, don't worry about anything. We'll take care of you. And in fact, they are taking care of everyone else, creating wealth for everyone else. You know what our dollars are saying to black folks? Very simple conversation. Not even a conversation. Here's the last paragraph of the article. "Yes, money talks, and black money talks even more. Its soothing voice and its comforting and reassuring smile makes non-black business owners feel real good. But do you know what black money is saying to black folks? It's simply saying, goodbye. Yes, goodbye. Because as soon as we get it, no sooner than we get it, we give it away to someone else. We don't recycle it, we don't pool it, we don't leverage it. For the most part, we get it and it's gone. So it's saying goodbye. Our dollars are not making sense. We need to change that. Are your dollars making any sense individually? I know that our dollars are not making any sense collectively, but are your dollars making any sense individually? You need to ask yourself that question and answer it as best you can. And if that answer is no, make a plan to do something about it. We can't just keep saying, oh, woe is me, we don't have any of this, and we don't have that, and we need this resource, and we need this in our neighborhood, and we need that. What are you going to do about it? Complaining is not going to make it happen. Like I said, we've done a lot of work through the NAACP to get someone to agree to come here and to take a look at the property that Kroger's has vacated. They are going to come to visit. I've also talked with the owner of the property, who has agreed to negotiate with us and to negotiate with the prospective supermarket owner a lease that would be attractive so that he could come and do this. Now, support is the key. After it's up and running, support is the key. Even before it's up and running. And I've suggested to some folks that if I'm going to put, if I'm going to go out on a limb and talk to somebody and bring them here and say, hey man, you need to, this is a good opportunity, and pull all the pieces together as best I can. I'm going to be looking for some pledges from folks to support that store. Public pledges. Through the collective banking group, we'll take charge of doing the campaign among the churches to get pledges. I'd even go as far as to say covenants to or from the members of these churches in that area to support that store. We need pledges, we need covenants, we need promises, commitments, whatever words you want to use. And then we need follow-up. We need people to do what they say they're going to do. Otherwise, don't complain about not having a black-owned store. Don't even complain about not having a store if we're not going to support it. And if we're not going to engage that store in a reciprocal way. Businesses have a responsibility to reciprocate to the community. And I heard a lot of complaints about the store not having this, not being this. Go and sit down and talk to them and meet with them and say, hey, you got to change this. This is what we want. This is wrong. You got to fix this. It's all about relationships. Business is about relationships. We'll complain about black businesses and we'll walk away from them if they do one thing wrong. Walk away. Oh, I'm never going there anymore. But we'll keep going to businesses owned by other folks and complaining about them. But we'll keep going giving them our money. Dollar's not making any sense. Finally,